Jamie Sweetheart back for another show.
Henry's back and smarter than ever.
I'm J-Wow and no one's gonna mess with me. I really tried so. I mean, it's just a really bad crew this year. I really hate everybody. They're no good guys.
I'm so happy everyone's here, but particularly Henry.
I don't even understand why I'm here. Like, I'm way too smart for this.
Bye. I just really wanted to get to know Washington because I love all of his works, like discoveries of the companions of Columbus, and I just think he's really good at writing biographies. And I love his short stories.
I'm just really happy to be getting to get to know some new friends because I mean, like, I know most of my friends through politics.
So Washington, tell us about yourself.
Well, first of all, you can call me Ronnie, babe. But I was born in New York in 1783.
Wait, you mean 1983?
No, I mean 1783.
So you're like 232 years old?
Yeah,
No,
but I
it's
look
cool.
good.
No, it's cool. We took a time machine here.
But I look better than him.
No.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, I'm hot.
No.
I'm hot.
I'm leaving.
Cool. Leave.
I don't have to
Boys, it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. Everyone's hot, but Ronnie, you're my favorite.
Thank you. So back to what I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted. I was youngest of 11 and I'm Scottish English. I went to school and I learned a lot. I mean, I'm not dumb. But when I started working for the newspaper called the Morning Chronicles, I really got a good start. So when I was tired of that, then I went to Europe and got some good culture because, you know, that's what people like me do. And then I thought I was pretty smart and I'm pretty good at the whole arguing thing, so I was like, why not be a lawyer? But I'm not done. So I went to law school and it turns out I'm not as amazing of a student as I might have thought I was. And I barely passed the bar exam.
Yikes. Maybe that's because you're an idiot.
Oh. I don't get why she was laughing when I said that I almost didn't pass my bar exam. I wasn't trying to be funny. If she really wants to laugh, she should read some of my humorous essays I've written. I mean, I think my best one is History of New York from the beginning of the world to the end of the Dutch dynasty, but it's just my opinion.
So Henry, tell us about yourself.
Well, I was a famous poet / author in the Romantic time, and I'm called one of the fireside poets. I was born in 1807, so I'm younger, which makes me better than Washington.
That's irrelevant.
You know, I was born in Maine, and then I went to Harvard because it's like one of the most prestigious schools, and now that we're here in 2015, I've even heard it's pretty great still. You know, then I just studied language because, like, it's just, no! Shut up! My most famous poem was Harvey's Ride. I have a deep connection with the revolution because my grandfather was a general, so I'm feeling...
So how old were you when you got first published?
Well, that's right, because I was 13 when I first started getting published by the Portland Gazette. So,
No one cares.
yeah,
No
people
one asks,
do. Why
I
would I
mean.
get published if no one cared?
Because you got daddy
No,
for it.
no,
Daddy problem.
no.
Please.
Thank you.
Well, I always had encouragement from my family. I heard someone else here didn't. If your own family doesn't like your writing, what's that mean? What's that say about yourself?
They're just idiots.
Maybe you
Because,
are.
okay, do you know how many people just like talked about my poems just around the fireside? That's why it was called one of the fireside poets.
That's not really nice. Just don't criticize his family. It's a really touchy subject.
Thanks. It's just, even though it's all true, it really hurts. Like, my dad just never supported me, and like, I can't believe you would bring that up. It's like,
It's a low blow, but you know, you gotta deal with it.
Well, I mean, nobody cares, but you both have advantages and disadvantages. Let's go party and tell some stories.
Alright guys, it's story time. So I'm going to tell you the story of probably one of my best ones. It's called Rip Van Winkle. So once there was this really loved guy named Rip Van Winkle. The whole town loved him. Like, he did everything for everyone else. But his problem was he didn't have the initiative to do it for his own family and for himself. He let the house go, never did his farming, and he had the most nagging wife that you could think of. So, you know, he resorted to kind of going to the bars, and at this bar, like, the main focal point was this picture of King George, because that was really what that time they stood for. That was their ruler. But, you know, so eventually his wife kind of found out he was going to the bars, and obviously she nagged him because he wasn't even doing his own housework around the house. So she kind of got him to stop going there. So his next resort was with his dog, who literally loved him, probably the closest to him in the family, and always followed him around. He went out to the woods where he would go hunting, and he took his new shiny revolver. So, you know, he was just out there with his dog on a grassy knoll, and then up a hill walks this little, kind of like a dwarf with a pint of beer. And being the nice guy he goes and helps them. And as they're walking up the hill, there's 9 other little men with all these little pints of beer. And it's just kind of peculiar. He's a little nervous, doesn't really know what to expect. So he's standing there, and out of his nervousness, he just starts drinking this beer that's sitting on the side in a pint. So he's drinking it, and he's feeling a little dizzy, and he's like, maybe I should stop, but he's still nervous, doesn't really know what's going on, keeps going. And
He's
then,
having a party.
Yeah, he is having a party. So then, the next thing he knows, he's out. And when he wakes up, he's on a grassy knoll. He doesn't have his dog. That is basically his closest thing to him. And what once was that shiny revolver is now an old, rusted one. So he's kind of like, what's going on? He looks around, there's no one around him. So he's like, well, I mean, I guess I should make it back to the town. My wife's going to kill me. Like, she's so naggy. Like, of course she's going to kill me. So he does what he has to do, and he goes to the town. And as he's walking by, he's like, wow, this is really weird. People don't look the same. The town doesn't really look the same. No one's saying hi to me, but everyone always says hi to me when I go to the town because, I mean, everyone loves him. And also, people are looking at him kind of weirdly because his clothes are kind of out of style now. And his beard is just really long, like almost as if he hadn't done anything to it in like years. So he's walking through, and he sees that bar that isn't a bar anymore that he used to always go to. That bar, it's now a hotel. And where that picture of King George stood, it's now a picture of George Washington. He's like, who is this guy? But it was just really weird for him, and everyone's kind of confused. They're standing around, they're skeptical of him, and they're just like, who is this guy? And then as he's looking around, he sees what once stood a really old tree is now a flagpole with the United States flag, and it's all really surreal to him, and he doesn't even know what hit the world. It's almost like he woke up 20 years later. So then he sees basically an exact replica of him, and he had gone and visited his old house, and it's all dilapidated. His family isn't there. There was this really old dog that almost looked a little bit like his old dog, but it didn't recognize him anymore, and it growled and ran away. So as he's walking through the town, and he sees some exact replica of him sitting by a tree, and he's like, that almost looks like my son that I haven't seen now for seems like forever. And then he's starting to ask people more what's going on, and he asks if anyone's seen Rip Van Winkle and how long ago it was that they saw him, and he asks about his wife, and he asks about his kids, and coincidentally, his own daughter walks by and realizes that that's her dad that she hasn't seen in 20 years. And everyone tells him that he's been gone for 20 years. And some people are skeptical of where he's been, where he's come from, if he just left his family and decided to come back because he's out of money or if he's poor. But really, he convinces them all that in that woods something happened that he could never retell. So basically, in the end, he finds out his wife's dead, and he doesn't have to deal with any of her nagging anymore. And basically, he doesn't have to ever deal with the stuff that everyone used to nag him about because he's old enough that it doesn't matter anymore. But his daughter takes him in, and he gets to live the life that he's always wished to, helping others, but without having to actually do anything on his own.
That was so boring.
Well, at least I actually have a story long enough, and I don't write poems just because I can't think of anything else out of my stupid head.
Okay, yeah, but
You wrote
back
about
to
a
my
guy riding
point,
on a horse.
I
Like, you
said
repeat the same line maybe
earlier,
20 times.
Oh my
I
god,
wrote
guys,
about one
it's
of
so
the greatest
stupid.
American heroes, and my
Well, we'll just see at the end of your stories better.
about
Why don't you tell your own?
every
Hey, why don't you
single
actually,
fighter.
why don't you tell your own story then?
Fine, let's switch spots.
Fine.
So I wrote my story, my little fun poem that's talked about at many firesides. Are you about the good old Paul Revere, which if any of you have taken any American history class, you would know who he was. Like, I learned about it from the great class with Miss Shellhouse and Miss Bowman. Like, again, I
You wrote it, come on.
Okay, fine, whatever. So anyways, I wrote about Paul Revere, and so it starts, he's talking to his good old friend, and he's like, so I'm going to tell you if the British are coming by land or by sea to conquer. So, and I'm going to tell you if there's one lantern, he's going to come by
Land.
and if there's two lanterns, he's going to come by
Sea.
and there were two
Lanterns,
lanterns.
come on!
I'm just trying to make it interactive and
Your
fun.
own story, get it right.
Okay. So they
You're
were
not a
coming
teacher.
by sea, and so he has to ride his little horsey to Concord to tell all of the people that the British are coming, and they're coming by land. So the rest of the poem is about how he's like riding through all these cool towns, and he's like feeling like he's just seeing the whole New England area, but like.
You didn't really sound like an American hero. You guys think he sounds like
Okay,
an
well,
American hero?
shut up. Okay, just shut up.
Whatever.
So then he gets there and he's like, the British are coming, the British are coming. But in real life, he didn't actually say the British are coming. That's just what everyone said, though.
Then why did he put it in his
I
poem?
know, I feel like that was so dumb. Why would you just put something in one that didn't
So
actually happen? It's supposed to be
stupid.
historical.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're on his side, aren't you? Because you think he's hot?
Oh,
I'm hotter.
this is, we don't even need to
that's
get,
an
you
opinion.
all are disgusting.
Yeah, Snooki, what do you think?
Okay,
babe?
shut up, guys.
You're the cameraman.
I mean, you're my babe.
Yeah, babe.
I know you guys think it's stupid that I put that line in there, but it is still remembered today, and it makes the story more interesting, and
It's a poem,
it
not a
rhymes.
story.
Poems can be stories.
Yeah, not when they're literally 3 lines long, but...
It's not 3 lines long. It's several pages printed out.
Yeah, like 6.100 font.
6.1.
Oh, get on with it, guys. Come on.
That's it. I'm done.
Good. Thank God.
He doesn't even understand it. He thinks that the outer layer of the story is stupid, which it's not. But they don't even have the brains to understand the literary symbolism. Does anyone even get it? Well, I guess I'll just have to spell it out for them. I use metaphors and personifications and other literary devices in my poem. Did they really not understand that the lantern and the bell tower was there to signify the light driving the British oppression? Did they not realize that the graveyard was supposed to signify the camp of the sleeping soldiers? Do you notice that the tower itself was given personification? Well, they're idiots. They're idiots.
I just can't believe he would say that about my magnificent work. He doesn't even understand what my book is even about. I mean, clearly he is completely uneducated about our country's history. I mean, really, I took a lot of time and thought in writing this story, and he acts like I slapped together the whole thing last night. Everything in the story stands for some part of the American Revolution, from Rip representing our very own America to his wife representing England. Everyone loved Rip because he represented the perfect romantic hero because he helped everyone. However, he neglected the work on his very own farm. This shows how before America gained freedom, they communicated with many other countries and helped all of them out. However, they failed to look after their own country's needs, which were freedom and liberty. I'm sorry, I just can't stop thinking about it. I mean, it's just so evident, I feel like, in my story. It's seriously staring the readers in the face. You have to be an idiot to not understand this. And also, how Rip's wife would just bug him about various things. This is just how England bugged America with all the taxes and whatnot until the point where both Rip and America couldn't take it anymore, so they rebelled. one was going off into the forest with the mountains, and another having the American Revolution. Just the forest with the mountains symbolizing change. I even put in my story such evident quotes, and when Whip awoke, everything was changed. The inn where he used to spend his time drinking away the days, the picture of King George over the inn, but when he comes back after 20 years, the inn is now a hotel for hardworking politicians. The entire story is about change, and it can be seen in almost every aspect of the plot. I just don't understand how some people can't comprehend that. I mean, from the old tree where people used to sleep under, it's now a flagpole. From the picture of the king to a picture of George Washington. From all the dogs obeying him to the dogs barking at him in the end. The dogs play an important role in this story because I intended them to be seen as the slaves that obeyed their master. But when the master returned after many years, the slaves of the dogs no longer have to obey in certain areas of the country, and especially when he first woke up, the first thing he saw was an eagle, our country's own national bird. About the thought that I put into this is incredible, just the amount, and it hurts me to think that people are not getting all the meaning out of the story that I intended. I'm sorry, it's just really hard to think that people can't appreciate it for what it is.
Mine is just better. See, you're worthless. You don't even have
I'm
to
actually
worthless.
eating because I have better things to do than talk to you about your poem that you put facts in that didn't even happen.
Okay, I never called them facts. Just take the